Guys, welcome back to HPL. We're at the PvP Live Studios here in Frisco, Texas. I'm your host, Nathan. That's Admiral Zamora with the Tan and Grace. Our first match is in the books, and boy, was it a good one.
It was a great one. We saw turn 3 Ragnaros. We saw 30 damage out of nowhere for the kill out of Grim Patron. And you know what? We saw the Rogue deck take it down there for Super JJ. He beat Powder 3-1 in that match.
Going back to his bread and butter after he has the lead. You know, these players do that from time to time. Whether they have the lead or whether they're far behind, they'll go with the decks that they're comfortable with and look to get the games done there. You know, Super JJ, we talked about it before the match, that he likes to be a little bit more patient and look for these big bursty turns. That's exactly what he did, and it just worked out so beautifully for him. Powder, not really able to get things going. Did switch it up, but, you know, had success in one game with Grim Patron Warrior, but then, you know, kind of fell short by the wayside as Super JJ was able to keep the heat turned up and really apply a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I loved seeing him queue up Grim Patron Warrior there because you know that Super JJ was targeting him as an aggressive player, so you get an aggressive deck that can win out of a lot of spots and has a lot of resiliency. And you saw it there, got to play for a really long game, and once it got the Emperor in play and made everything really cheap, once you make Whirlwind 0 mana, it's so hard to beat that deck.
Yeah, worlds of opportunity get opened up because of Emperor Thorson. That's really a catalyst to a lot of the combos is Emperor Thorson and the mana that it provides to you. Take a look at the standings, see where both of those guys sit now in that position. I mean, just Powder, you know, looked like he was coming out very, very strong early on. He's now been evened up at 2 games apiece. Super JJ, I mean, the Complexity team really putting some stuff together here. He moves up to 3-1, and Dog, he's sitting at 4-0 right now.
Yeah, Super JJ looking great, queuing up great in these matches so far, and I love the confidence from him there after his matches.
Yeah, Purple also sitting at even right now at 2 games apiece, and then we're coming back right now in this matchup. Jab, he's coming up with Purple next. He's on a 5-match winning streak, and that's the match we're going to talk about right now.
Yeah, well,
is Jab versus Purple.
Yeah, when we talk about this match, God, I'm so excited about this one. We have Jab versus Purple here in our second match, and what I want to talk about the most with them is mana utilization. Now, what is that? It's how well they use their mana over the span of the game and how much of it they use every turn. And like, it's the percentage they use of it throughout the entire game, and Jab has been doing a great job of it here in HPL. He is 6th in all of HPL with an 81.7 mana utilization, and he's having proper mana utilization is super important in competitive Hearthstone. 4 of the top 5 players here in HPL standings coming into tonight are in the top 6 of all the players in mana utilization. This is really showing you the importance of using your mana efficiently during your games. This is headlined by Jab's mana using class, how he does it in Druid. Jab's using 84.8% of his mana in Druid. That is a huge number. This is only behind Dog, who is 2-0 with Druid, and Muzzy, who is 4-1. So Jab may be 3rd in line in mana utilization with Druid, but he is 7-1 with the class here in HPL, just getting a ton of wins with it.
Yeah, Jab continues to play mid-range strategies. You know, he wants his options open on both sides of aggression and control. He mentioned that in one of his interviews, that he wants to have those options open. That's why he loves those mid-range strategies. He also has a ton of momentum on his side. Again, a 5-match winning streak. It's really hard to downplay that in any situation possible. You know, it's also very difficult to prepare for Jab kind of moving forward in here. We've seen him play a slew of mid-range strategies, but if you ever watch him stream, he basically only plays Hunter when he's streaming. He doesn't play pretty much anything else while he's doing that, but in HPL, we haven't seen him be doing that very much.
Yeah, now when we look at Purple, and I want to talk about his mana utilization, it's a little bit different than Jab's, and it tells you a much different story. His in HPL is 78.3. He is 3rd lowest in HPL, 2nd lowest if you don't count RDU's 1 match that he's played here in HPL. His mana utilization is much lower than HPL average on every turn of the games besides turn 5, 7, and 8. So that means on those turns, he's been consistent with everyone else, but he hasn't been good on all the other ones as they have. Now, he's shown this consistently throughout his career. He's got the 2nd lowest mana utilization of anyone in our database with at least 35 games. But he's still winning. He's winning 56.3% of his games here in HPL, and he has a 52% win rate overall in his career. So he's still winning these games and finding good lines, even though he might not be using his mana as efficiently as other players.
Yeah, it's really kind of showing you how patient of a player Purple is when his strategy calls for it. Loves to play strategies that deliver those major turns, those major combos. You know, a lot of times he's looking for damage in those spots. Sometimes he'll be clearing out a bunch of minions. But when you're having to wait for those kinds of turns, it really isn't easy. You know, to not panic when you're facing down that kind of pressure is really the mark of someone who understands exactly what their strategy is trying to do. And I also want to mention something about Purple's record now. He's sitting at 2-2. do. And this match in particular is such a key one for Purple in terms of momentum. After this match, he'll be a third of the way through the season for him, and he'll either have a winning or a losing record afterwards. And, that's kind of something that you don't want to, that's a position you really don't want to be in. And we're going to see today how Purple handles that kind of pressure heading into this match.
Those are really, really great points. Now, when you take both of them and you compare them, they both are wildly different in their man utilization, as we've said. Jab is at 81.7, while Purple's is 78.3. That is a pretty big difference. Now, how does that difference in style clash? Jab has been scaling up his curve every turn. He's been trying to play larger threats as the game goes on. You see this a lot in his mid-range decks. Purple is trying to set you up. He wants big turns and big combos and finish you off that way.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much nailed it on the head. When you reach a sort of a reasonable sample size, that mana utilization really starts to help describe how a player has been playing the game. Mana utilization isn't for who's doing it better or who's doing it worse. It's meant to tell you a story of how they're playing. When players are consistently playing larger minions as they get into those later stages of the game, they will be utilizing more of their mana. When players are patient and taking their time to set up big turns, they'll float a little bit more mana in those scenarios. You'll see those differences in the numbers like we see here in this matchup. I mean, Jab versus Purple is a wonderful illustration of those two styles in particular.
Yeah, absolutely. So why don't you tell us what you think the keys to success for Jab and Purple are here?
Yeah, I do want to talk about that here for a minute. What I think Jab has actually got to do to win this match. We've seen him on a 5-match winning streak, and I think in this match he needs to continue to keep those flexible options. We've seen him go either very aggressive or very defensive in his matches, and I think this is a very big key to his success, is continuing to do that. Against a player like Purple who's played multiple different kinds of strategies, he swings at you in very different ways, whether it's early game aggression or sort of those bigger combos. I think that options are a very big key point for him. And the second one, though, is because he's on that 5-match winning streak, I think he needs to keep his ego in check here a little bit. Don't get into one of those battles where you keep queuing up the same deck versus Purple over and over again. If he's targeting you, you absolutely cannot afford to continue playing that deck. He's done such a good job in his deck building that you cannot let the fact that you're on a 5-match winning streak go to your head. Keep your cool, play your game. That's how he's going to win this match.
It's kind of hard to not have a little bit of ego when you've won 5 matches in a row, but if anyone can keep a cool head, then it's Jab. Now, keys for Purple. Number 1, prepare for Druid. Jab is 7-1 with Druid, and Jab's teammate just beat Purple with Druid last round, the last time they played. He queued it up 4 straight times against you, so be prepared for him to do the same kind of thing for you. Second one, push the action. Jab has been playing a lot of mid-range strategies. If you can get to him before he gets set up, if you can be really aggressive and really try to get to him before he gets totally set up, gets all of his minions scaled up, and you get him in that one turn where you're super aggressive and he doesn't have the right answer, then you'll get an easy win in that game.
Yeah, I think aggression a really big key point for Purple in this matchup, and that's going to kind of bring me over to my pick for this matchup, who I think has actually got the edge. I have to go with Purple on this one. Again, Jab has not shied away from mid-range strategies whatsoever, and Purple, this is right up his alley, loves to play classes that will punish you for having a little bit slower starts than they typically will. I think he's going to consistently use those strategies over and over again to really put the test to Jab. If Jab doesn't have the right answers, Purple's going to win it, and you know what? I think that Jab's going to be sticking with those mid-range strategies, and Purple's going to get the better of him.
Yeah, those are really, really great points and everything, Nathan, but how do you argue with 5 wins in a row? I'm going with Jab. He's won 5 games in a row against some very, very good opponents. He's on top of the world. He's got a lot of momentum, and he's very confident of himself. That's a lot going for you in this match, and I think he's going to win this match against Purple and put him at a losing record here through his first third of HPL.
Well, Jab definitely has the momentum on his side. Again, 5 straight match wins. It's really tough to
It's hard to argue with that.
It's tough to get 5 straight match wins, but you're going to figure out exactly who's going to have the edge in this one once we start seeing these games. Who do you think's got the edge, though? Get out there on Twitter, use that hashtag HPL. You can also tag us on Facebook, like, comment, anything that you want to do. Make sure that you get out there and voice your opinion. We want to know who you think is going to win and what you think they have to do in order to win that match. And if you want to see for yourself, you can head over to pvplive.net and check out all the stats for yourself. Once you compare these guys side by side and see the way they've played in the past, maybe your opinion's going to change a little bit from the initial one you had. We want to know about it either way, and you can see the recap and everything you need to know about these players over on the website. And right now, though, we're going to find out who's going to take this game 1. This is a big match, man. Game 1, Jab versus Purple, is getting underway.
Man, I am so excited about this match. This is the one I was looking forward to the most tonight, and we see A big deviation from the norm here from Jab.
Wow. I mean, you talk about mid-range strategies that have a lot of power. Shaman is definitely one of them, but this is typically considered to be one of the weaker classes in the game right now because of its inability to really fight off everything that your opponents are doing. A lot of it can be very draw dependent. You know, stuff like Earthshock, Rockbiter, vital in the early game. Having the key mid-range threats of Azure Drake and Fire Elemental to keep the board back in your position, those are also vital.
Earthshock, Zombie Chow, Haunted Creeper, Lightning Storm. I just want to read off a couple of cards in Jab's opening hand here against this super aggressive deck from Purple. That is an Ardent Squire in his Hunter deck. This deck is trying to kill you quickly.
Yeah, not only that, but also it wants to keep its options open for trading. Part of the reason why Ardent Squire is in this list. Jab gonna choose to go with Zombie Chow here, turn 1 to contest things. Doesn't think it's worth investing the coin to get the Haunted Creeper out here. He's actually even going to Earthshock
I like this play
straight away on this Leper Gnome. And frankly, if there's gonna be a high value Earthshock, I think it's right here on the Leper Gnome. The fact that Purple's played that, it's unlikely he has a ton of mid-range minions to really contest what's going on. And the fact that you have this Zombie Chow out right now, you're gonna be able to completely keep this board in check. What a start from Jab.
Yeah, great start from Jab here. Just Earthshock's so good against the early Hunter minions. All of them get really punished by Earthshock. If you can get something like, you know, a Mad Scientist, I know it doesn't kill it, but just getting rid of it or getting to actually kill something like Leper Gnome, it feels like such a huge victory.
Yeah, this is a sort of a weakness here now for Shaman, though, is it doesn't have a lot of ways to fend off against exactly the way that Hunter's going to attack them. Every single step of the way, they're going to try to apply more pressure and really get things done. Jab understands the importance of this. He's going to Lightning Storm right away.
He's going to Lightning Storm right away, meaning that he's only going to have 2 mana next turn, but he has a pretty good play in this Flame Tongue Totem that's in his hand.
Yeah, can either push for damage or choose to develop slowly and really get things done from there, but Purple's hand, not shy of action whatsoever. He's got Wolf Rider, he's got 2 copies of Unleash the Hounds. Shaman's very focused on keeping a lot of minions on their board so that they can utilize stuff like Flame Tongue Totem, maybe even something as crazy as Abusive Sergeant. Right here, he's going to have to start taking that risk. This Haunted Creeper going to put a ton of minions on his side of the board. His pressure's going to get it a little bit stifled. The Healing Totem, great for him.
Purple's hand is great going
look at how much
here.
damage he has to fend off, though. I mean, this is a spot where, despite the fact that he's had this strong early game start, he's going to have to continue defending throughout the entire course of the game, and he doesn't have a way to naturally protect his life
he
total.
needs something like an anti-heal bot or something with some taunt up very soon, or he's going to be taking way too much damage over the next turn or two from Purple. You see him actually digging into his deck here with Azure Drake. Now, he's going to trade off a little bit this turn, so this is going to help him out against Future, the second Unleash the Hounds that's in Purple's hand. But you see that he has a ton of already charged minions in his hand. He has an Arcane Golem. He has this Wolf Rider. He's going to weave in these hero powers. And this Iron Beak Owl, you have to believe that's only going to be used to take care of a taunt later.
I mean, look at this. Jab already down to 12, and he's been on a defensive step at every single step of the way.
Heal bot off the top here.
I mean, this was a necessary draw if he wanted to stay in this game. Zombie Chow going to heal Purple back up to 30 should he choose to do it that way, or he can put his Azure Drake at risk. But either way, he's still going to be on the defensive. I mean, even after this antique heal bot, it's only going to give him enough pressure to really, you know, keep himself alive. He's actually going to not even play the antique heal by this turn. Like that he's choosing to go with this Sylvanas instead, you know, weigh up his mana better. He has to get pressure coupled with this in order to get this game done. And Explosive Trap going to be beautiful to continue to push through threats here and make sure that he can get extra damage out on every single step of the way. Arcane Golem to the face for 4 points of damage. You have your extra mana, Jab. He just wants to kill him.
Yeah, but Jab's going to have a pretty decent turn this turn as well. He's going to be able to anti-heal bot plus do a couple things if he wants. He's got Hex. He's got Rockbiter Weapon if he wants to make this Healing Totem start to trade in against this Arcane Golem. He's just got to be careful about what he thinks this trap is.
Yeah, you can see him even hedge his bets against everything that's going on. And once again, though, he has to get pressure out. This Antique Heal Bot 100% coming down this turn. Plays into Ruby and Egg first, so that Explosive Trap will give him an extra 4/4. Again, he just has to apply a lot of pressure. He's going up to 12, but he's going to be facing down minimum 5 more points of damage next turn from Purple. But Purple could even just wait and save the Unleash the Hounds. I don't think he's going to, especially when he picks up the Quick Shot. But this is still, again, the fact that Jab has been able to kill everything hasn't really mattered so much because Purple has been steady shotting every single turn since like turn 3.
Yeah, you see the most important thing here, Purple has just been using his curve the correct way and making sure that he gets a hero power in every single turn, making sure to get in that extra 2 damage every turn has been huge this game, and it's probably going to help get him the win here if he ends up winning this one.
Yeah, Dr. Boom, I mean, Purple, you know, he's not facing down a ton of pressure considering that Jab is at 7, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Jab does have 19 points of damage, though, so Purple is going to have to end this game next turn if he wants to win it. He's got 5 in his hand, but he needs a little bit more.
Yeah, he needs a little bit more now. It's going to be interesting to see if Jab, how he does this. You can roll a totem first, see if you get a taunt totem to kind of help gain you some life here. But again, it doesn't work with Iron Beak Owl if your opponent has something like that, as we see Purple does. He can do all kinds of crazy things like hexing his own minion here. I've seen crazier things happen when you're trying to stay alive in these really, really close games, because he has to develop his board at least a little bit further to try to kill Purple next turn. He knows this game can't go much longer.
So, going to roll up everything. He's going to play Dr. Boom, and this is really the turn. If Purple gets the extra damage,
5 damage,
this game is going to be over. But if he doesn't get the damage, that's it. And
Glazezuka will do it.
That's going to be enough damage. I mean, this deck is full of it, too. Wolf Riders, Arcane Golems, weapons, explosive trap, quick shots, kill commands. Pretty much the only thing that wouldn't have killed Jab this turn is something like a Leper Gnome, an Argent Squire, or another Iron Beak Owl, or maybe a Haunted Creeper, I guess. But Purple just able to apply pressure at every single step of the way, keep Jab in a defensive position, and close this game out despite an anti-heal bot.
Yeah, despite the anti-heal bot. How do you feel about that queue up there by Jab?
It's very, very interesting of a queue up, I have to say, personally. We haven't seen a ton of Shaman here in HPL. It hasn't had a fantastic record so far. The fact that he's played it, obviously he's looking to target something from Purple. I don't think he's just queuing up Shaman because he believes it's best. It's meant to do something, and in this match, wasn't able to get it done. I mean, Face Hunter, one of those strategies that will apply a ton of pressure and keep people in positions where if they don't have perfect draws, it's going to punish them for it. And something that's difficult for Shaman to do is have a perfect draw.
Yeah, he even had a great draw that game against what Purple was trying to do. He had a lot of early minions, a lot of early removal, but you saw that Purple just kept weaving in hero powers, kept shooting him with his hero power, and he just kept taking 2 and 5 and 7 every turn, and he just couldn't get enough going to stymie that and win the game, and he ended up losing to Purple there. It's going to be interesting to see what he brings in his next match, though. I got to believe he's going to bring something like Druid against Purple.
Yeah, I mean, Shaman obviously very clearly meant to target something like Zoo maybe, and really keep that strict control. But again, no way to naturally pad its life total, so falling in this game to the hero power. If you guys want to check out the recap from this game, maybe see that Shaman deck, maybe you're looking to build one yourself, you can head over to pvplive.net and check out this recap from this entire game. The stats breakdowns, everything they played, the strategies they chose, and how they chose to play them. These guys are making changes to their decks, though. I would expect the Shaman deck to change a little bit, but who knows? Maybe he's got alternate plans. When we come back, it's going to be Game 2, Jab versus Purple. Purple's out to a 1-0 lead. Don't go anywhere, guys. You're watching Hearthstone.
And friends, and ideas.